Welcome back to our podcast. This is the second portion of our podcast on changing careers. And with us is Tori.
And that's one thing I wish I would have, I have the knowledge now, but I didn't think about that, is that I don't like looking for new jobs. I don't like change, so that goes into that. But with looking for a job, especially when you're younger, you always have in the back of your head that they're going to say no. No matter what I say, they're going to say no because you look younger, or your resume might not be as long as the next person that is interviewing after you. So that is something that I feel, for me personally, if I go home and actually do research everything and write it all down and keep it, the liabilities, your elevator speech, the anything that I'd feel that I might not know compared to what I do know, that no matter if you get a no, whether it's in the networking or informational interview or even a real interview, you kind of still feel confident because
Absolutely.
You have all your bases covered.
Okay, you just said something very important, and you mentioned somebody who is a lot more technically competent than I would be.
Yeah.
It is not always the most technically qualified person who gets the job. It's not fair, but it is usually the person who acts the part, seems to be the part, and looks to be the part.
Yeah.
I can interview somebody who is absolutely much more technically competent than you are, but you come in and you're doing a much better job in establishing chemistry with me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to want to work for you, supervise you if I'm going to be your boss or whatever, and I'll say I can teach Tori X because I really like her and I think she would be much easier to work with than this other person, and that happens every day.
Yeah.
So sell yourself and brag on yourself in the accomplishments that you have had in your last career. Now, there's the most important question you're going to be asked in the interview is, why do you want to leave your company, or in changing a position or a career, why do you want to go into this career path? We call that the parting line. Why are you leaving the company? Why are you leaving a profession?
Yeah.
If you cannot answer that intellectually, confidently, whatever, I'm not going to give you the job. So that's a liability question. We've talked about liability questions. We always put that at the top.
Yep.
Why do you want to stop being a paralegal and go into being a data analyst? So let's practice now. The first time you say this, it may not be the exact right way, but let's work on it.
Okay.
And we're going to show our listening audience, viewing audience, how to do this. Okay. Tori, why do you want to leave your profession? You've been very successful in it. You work for a very good law firm. Why do you want to leave that, and you got a degree in paralegal, and go into data analyst?
Is it okay to say I don't know? I haven't thought about it.
No, that's the reason we're practicing. You got to master this. Give me your best shot, and then I'll help.
Okay. It's more of a personal. It has nothing to do with professional for my company or, who my manager or anything like that, or the people I work with. It's more personal, that I feel like I'd have more enjoyment based on the research that I've done on the job specifically of a data analyst. I feel like I would enjoy it a lot more than what I'm currently doing.
That is a very good first attempt.
Okay.
Now, it has to be in your words.
Yes.
You got to say it the way you would say it. But let me I'm going to take what you just said, and I'm going to massage it and make it a little bit more powerful.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'm going to be successful at this.
Okay.
I've been doing it for 36 years. I hope so.
Okay.
I would say I am very good in my current position. I'm an excellent researcher. I know the software packages. I know how to do X, Y, and Z. But, and now it's a U-turn, and notice the U-turn.
Okay.
But I would be happier researching in the political realm. I majored in political science. I'm an avid fan of politics, races, competition, the different platforms.
Yeah.
I want to be doing something that I am more interested in. I want to take the skill sets that I've mastered and apply that to something I really want to do.
Okay. That makes sense.
Did that?
Yeah, you kind of put the professional first. Say, I'm good at blah, 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 blah.
Sold.
And you turn it around but make it a little bit more personal and say
Absolutely.
on a deeper level, I'm good at what I do, but it goes deeper than just being good at what you do.
And most people, professionals who are going to be interviewing you, will like the fact that you really like politics and the study of it.
Yeah.
If I come in and say, well, I've just kind of always been interested in politics, I think it's you have to have politics to run a democracy.
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice working in politics.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hire you.
Yeah.
But if you tell me this is my passion, that goes a long way, and then I'm going to be willing to train you some technical skills.
So would it be, personally, could you say something as, in my free time, after the curve, you can say, in my free time, I still research policy, politics. It's something that I enjoy doing in my free time, and I want to put that into my career.
Perfect.
Is that somewhere? Okay. I don't know if you can say that. Okay.
That shows that you're really interested in it.
Yeah.
It's not, well, I've just kind of thought of this in the last year that I may be interested in this. I majored in political science. I spend my time doing research in the evening because I love it, and I want to do this as a profession.
Yeah, I think a lot of people my age, millennials or younger, they have things that they're passionate about, but they don't know how to translate it into a career. So I'm grateful that I kind of know what my passion is and what I want to do. I just have to make that transition to, okay, you got to change. You got to do a career change, which is tough in itself, but getting some guidance is, like, just this little, interview or whatever. It has helped a lot more than the last 4 months of me just kind of sitting and trying to piece it together by yourself.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people make the mistake of doing in a career is not getting career focused.
Yeah.
If you're networking through me, I'm going to say, how can I help you? And if you don't tell me what you really want to do, I don't know the kind of companies to refer you to. I don't know the industries. I don't know the people in my network that will be able to help you. So career focus is the foundation. And I am working with a young man right now who is 24 years old. And he did not know what he wanted to do. He spent a lot of money going through college, and he came out with around $30,000 in debt. That's the way the game is played this way, unfortunately, that a lot of millennials have, an average of $40,000 or $50,000 in educational debt. Well, so he's not doing anything.
Yeah.
He's sitting there in a job he doesn't like because he doesn't have a goal. You get the goal. You know what it is you want to do.
Yeah.
Most people are not going to go out and look for a job if they think they're going to look stupid when somebody asks them what they want to do and they don't know how to tell them. So guess what you're not going to do? You're not going to look for a job.
Yeah, I was there. I looked, but I didn't want to apply for anything. So I'm like, I'm going to look stupid if I send my resume, even though it's good.
You and about 80% of millennials listening to us right now do that. And not only millennials, baby boomers, Gen Xers, or whatever. So get focused. Know your pros and cons. Know your liabilities. Do your informational gathering interview. Study. And I am betting, and you call me up 2 months from now, and you tell me you've already said you're more confident.
Yeah.
But after you keep doing this and you go through the exercise of doing your pros and cons list, Tori, you know what your biggest problem is? You don't realize how good you are.
Oh, I think a lot of people do. A lot of people have that not hopeful that I'm good, I could do anything. I have done that. Put me in a job and I can do it. It's just translating that to people who have the jobs that you want, saying, like, not sounding desperate, like, hey, if you give me the opportunity, I can do it. 100%.
Don't say that.
No, you don't say it. You don't say that, but you have that I can do this. I
Yes.
know I can. I have to prove it to you somehow. And that's where it gets lost in translation, where how do you prove it to someone without sounding desperate?
And that gets into packaging.
Yeah.
You know your liability questions.
Yep.
You know why you want to go into that. You say it with confidence, and you're not desperate.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not the most technically qualified person
Yeah.
that gets the job. See, I had a 16-year career in human resource management.
Mm-hmm.
I have interviewed more people than I want to talk about
Mm-hmm.
when I was in corporate human resources.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've owned a company for 36 years. I can't tell you how many people have wanted to work for us because my company was named the #1 best place to work in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a real big honor. It was by the Atlanta Business Chronicle. 12 years before that, we were in the top 10. So a lot of people want to work for us, and therefore I have interviewed a lot of people. It amazes me how unprepared 80-90% of people are when they go into an interview.
Yeah.
And don't go in if you're not prepared. It's a waste of time
Yeah.
for you and me.
Yeah.
So, okay, may I ask you a loaded question?
Sure.
I don't ask unloaded questions
Okay.
here. What do you feel? We've kind of discussed this,
Yeah.
Tori, but I want to bring it even deeper.
Okay.
I want to delve down. What do you think your biggest liability is in being hired as a political data analyst? What is your biggest shortcoming and your biggest liability?
It's not, I don't think it'll be professional, because I can be professional. I've been in many corporate offices. I know how to act. It's not that. It's
Absolutely.
mostly being confident that this is something that I've never done before, even though I've done the research and I know that I want to do this. I know I'm interested in it because I follow politics policy, but just being confident enough saying you can just put your mind towards it, if that makes sense.
It
It's
makes
more of a
perfect
personal
sense.
answer, but
Now, you realize we've gone full circle now. At the beginning, you were talking about not being confident.
Yep.
And you said that you've increased your confidence by the topics that we
Yep.
have been talking about. When we executive coach someone, there's a symptom someone is doing or not doing, and then there's the underlying reason.
Okay.
If we coach on the symptom, we're not modifying or improving behavior. We have to get down.
Yeah.
So then the question becomes, you said you're not as confident as you would want to be. Then the question becomes, why are you not confident? Now, that's the reason I ask you to do the pro and con list. Because on the con side, that's going to tell you you've been rattling, having all this stuff, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it's the 1,000-pound gorilla. Get it down on paper, check off each one, and take care of it. And Tori, you're better than you think you are. You present yourself so well and very maturely for your age. And then if you can work on and eliminate, let me say not work on, eliminate the cons, the liabilities, do you realize how successful you can be?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like that. I think once they realize
Absolutely.
they kind of get it on paper and they work through whatever the cons are and you move it to the pro list, that you naturally become more confident, but at the same time, you back that up because you actually did something to make it, okay, I worked on it. You have that confidence behind it that's saying, I wasn't naturally good at this, but I worked on whatever it is to move it. So
there's an irony here.
Okay.
You are a research specialist.
Yes.
You do research for attorneys and for lawsuits.
Yep.
You said you're very good at it. I believe you. Okay. The irony is you have researched for the law firm and the lawsuits. You have failed to research for yourself.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
But you've
when
already...
you say it that way, no, it doesn't make sense.
Exactly, and I'm not trying to make you feel badly, but you said it just a few seconds ago. Most people don't take the time to do this, or even worse, they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
I am telling you, looking for a job, changing careers, even in the same career path or a different one, is a science. And when you really know how to do it, think of the things that I've asked you to do today.
Mhm.
When you do that, do you know how much more prepared and qualified and better packaged you're going to be than your competition?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I am thinking. Like, okay, well, I'm always thinking, how can I not one up someone, but be the best that I could be and prove that I'm the best? And even if it's researching all the little things that maybe I don't know, but who knows, the next person might know those things, but they might not feel as confident in themselves.
They may not sell themselves.
Yeah.
I think I said earlier that the most important part of a career search that we teach are the interview skills.
Yeah.
You can have a wonderful resume.
Mm-hmm.
You can network beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
You can be very career focused. If you blow the interview, and by that I mean you're not confident, you don't know how to brag, and you got to brag on the interview.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to beat everybody up to brag because you're not supposed to brag on yourself. When you know how to present yourself and sell your goods, I'm telling you, the people on our program, they do so much better, and they talk about, oh my, I can remember the previous interviews I had,
Yeah.
and I must have really looked badly. Well, we teach them how to do that. And what is surprising, body language is your most important communication tool.
Mm-hmm.
And most of us have read the statistics that body language is 90% of communication or 80% or whatever. We spend more time on body language teaching interview skills than content. We have a very simple content theory that cleans up content. It's mental thinking and it's presenting. But when you're teaching body language for interview skills, it's breaking habits. And I want to compliment you, Tori. You have you're presenting you're sitting up,
Mm-hmm.
you're using your hands, you have good eye contact. There's 6 areas of body language.
Yeah.
And you, I could work with you 10 minutes and you'll blow them away.
I hope so. That's what I'm hoping to do.
Wait. What's this hope so? A confident person will say, you're right, Emery. I haven't
done my research yet. I don't feel confident yet.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
I got to do my part.
Okay.
So it's not all up in my head.
What other question do you want to ask me about changing the careers, looking for the whatever it is? You got me. Let's go. Try to stump me on an answer on a question I cannot answer. And you're not going to be able to.
Okay.
Did you hear my confidence?
I'll try. Yes. I'll try though. How long is too long before you should just say, all right, I've done the networking, I've done the informational interview, I may have gone on some interviews. When do you decide, okay, you might be passionate about it, but you can't necessarily, it's not working for the career side, whether it's that industry isn't growing, that there's no jobs available, whether it's because no one's hiring right now or that they're already staffed. How do you know when it's too long? 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, how long?
I'm going to change a word in there.
Okay.
Not how long, but when it's not a good idea to go into X profession.
Okay.
You've done your your informational gathering interviewing.
Okay.
And they're saying that this technology is making the research obsolete. It's being done by artificial intelligence, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a tragedy to go take a job in that profession, then in 3 months you say, oh my goodness, they're eliminating these jobs in the next 3 years because artificial intelligence is taking over. So that's one of the questions you should ask in the informational gathering interview. What are the potentials?
Yeah.
What do you see this profession doing in 5 or 10 years, whatever? So know when it's not a good idea to go into a certain profession.
Okay.
Now, you ask, how long is too long? I alluded to this a few minutes ago in our interview, the 3 steps in the job search. Networking, or asking people to network, going on the network interview, and then the job interview. Looking for a job is very quantifiable.
Mm-hmm.
you should be getting in to see 85% of the people you either call or email. If you're not getting in to see those people, and we have a 4-step process that we teach to get in to see these people, when you're not getting in to see at least 85%, you're doing something wrong. We retrain the person. Then they get into the networking appointment. There are 2 things you want out of a network appointment: names of other people, and you should be getting an average of 3 names.
Okay.
Some people will give you no names, some people will give you 10 names, but an average of 3 people, and where the jobs are. Okay, if you're not doing that, getting those numbers, you're doing something wrong in the networking process. We would retrain you.
Okay.
And then importantly, if you're always coming in second place in the interview, you're doing something wrong in the interviewing process. So I don't think it is an issue of how long is too long.
Okay.
It's what you're doing wrong.
Okay.
A fool does not know reliability again. You've got to know, am I not good in inviting or asking for the interview process, network process? Am I not good networking? Am I not good interviewing? Because if you've done your proper research and there's a good potential for the next 5 or 10 years, then you're in the right path. A lot of people can think they're looking for a job and they're not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And know where you're the weakest in. Because you can be great at getting in front of people. You can be great at getting the names and where the jobs are. If you don't interview well, it's over.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So it's not how long, it's are you really on the right path?
Yeah.
In a profession. Statistics show that sometimes 50 and 60% of the jobs that people work in today did not exist 10 years ago.
Wow.
And you think about it, cybersecurity,
Yeah.
that has just come forward in the last 10 years, maybe 12 or whatever you want to say. They cannot find enough people in cybersecurity.
That makes sense.
So there's a lot of good jobs and careers out there. What is tragic for a millennial not to go find out about it. So they're stymied. They're not being proactive. They're not getting the knowledge, so therefore they don't have the goals, so they don't want to go out and embarrass themselves.
No, I feel that. I feel that
We've
way.
gone full circle.
Yeah. I have a little bit more of direction of where I'm supposed to at least, I feel like, start, because as you said, sometimes I feel like the past 3 or 4 months just letting it rattle around in my head was not useless, but I need to do something on my side.
Tori, you didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You can't beat yourself up about that. What you can, and our listening audience can beat themselves up about, is not getting the knowledge.
Yeah.
Not asking how to do it. And then the next phase of this, you get the job, and I have a feeling you will. I'll continue helping you on the side. If you want me to, call me up. There's not a problem you and I cannot solve. But you get the job then, and we're going to be having podcasts on this. I've had 2 radio shows, and we did workplace issues: bullying, the workplace, sexual harassment, somebody stealing your ideas, not getting along with your boss. Do you know that 65% and more of the time when people don't like their job, it is due to the boss? I give a lot of speeches, and often I'll say, think of the worst job you've ever had. And then raise your hand. Is it the type of work? Is it the type of work environment, corporate culture, or is it the boss? Absolutely, every time, 65, 70, 80% will raise their hand that it was the boss. So now what we need to do, we need to have a podcast on how to manage your boss, and that's the talent.
That'll be a good one.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be definitely a good one.
Yes. So I've enjoyed you interviewing me, and I think I've interviewed you more than you've interviewed me. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that's okay though. It's still
I
fun.
really enjoy this, and I think that we've given some information to our audience that they'll want to come back in and listen to us again. So we invite you to tune in again to hear our podcast talking about how you can be more successful in your career and along your career journey. If you don't know how, this is the place to learn how, and we look forward to seeing you next time.